and welcome to the future of Wichita Falls. I'm the President and CEO of the Wichita Falls Chamber of Commerce, Henry Florsham, and today we're going to be talking about Proposition A, and that's parks and trails. This proposition is around $7.3 million, and it's got a few different sections to it, and we're going to talk about each one of those in detail and show you some images from those. The first part of Proposition A will almost finish the trail, and I'll show you what that means here in just a minute. The first segment is going to connect Lucy Park to the Wichita Bluff nature area. If you've been to the Wichita Bluff area recently, you'll notice that there's a lot of the trail completed already. There's a pavilion on top of the hill, and it's a really neat area with lots of different landscapes and scenery. And so this trail is almost finished all the way to Loop 11, and the area in blue is what Proposition A would complete. It'll connect the trail from Loop 11 all the way up to Lucy Park. The next segment also runs along Seymour Highway, and this is going to end right now around Smith's Gardentown at the railroad overpass and pick up where the trail ends at Barnett around Johnson Road. So the city's negotiated an agreement with the railroad, and that's not an easy thing to do, and that clock is ticking on this agreement. And so right now, what we'll be able to do if we fund this proposition is to connect the trail between those 2 points along the railroad right-of-way. If we don't do that soon, this agreement may expire and we have to figure out some alternative. And then third is along Lake Wichita. And here's where I said we're going to almost finish the trail with Proposition A. If you look at the screen, you can see we're split into two sections, and Proposition A would complete the trail along the water's edge from Lake Wichita Park to the area around Larry's Marine. Now, one thing to point out about all three of these segments, the city has obtained grants from TxDOT. These grants have been approved that would fund approximately 80% of the grant from the state, and we're only on the hook for 20% of this. If we choose not to approve Proposition A, we're going to have to finish the trail on our own somehow over time, and we'll have to pay 100% of the cost ourselves. Right now we've got 80% of it covered by the state. We ought to take advantage of that. So Proposition A will take us about halfway out into this gap, getting us back to Barnett, and then Proposition B, which we'll talk about in a future show, will close that gap and complete the trail. Okay, so next is a couple of spurs that would connect the Circle Trail to some of our largest population centers. And so the first one is going to connect all the way out to Sheppard Air Force Base from the Ohio Street Bridge, and the trail goes right underneath that at this point, kind of near the impact, very close to downtown. And so this would be about a 3.5 mile segment, would provide access to downtown and the entire city through the trail to thousands of airmen and others that work and live at Sheppard Air Force Base. And so the starting point for that would be the historic Ohio Street Bridge. Then there's another spur that would be developed to connect MSU to the rest of the community. We'd start around the corner of Sikes, around the corner of Taft and Southwestern Parkway. The trail hits at Holliday Creek right there. We'd come along Southwest Parkway and then use this old aqueduct easement to get up to Sikes Lake. Now this would connect one of our largest populations, that is MSU students and staff, to the rest of the community and provide an easy access point back to the trail and therefore the rest of the city. And so if we vote A and then B in together, we will completely finish the trail, build spurs out to Sheppard Air Force Base and to MSU. Next in this proposition is artificial turf for 4 of the fields at the softball complex. Now, bringing in athletic events, and I know our CVB does a lot of this, that's economic development. When those people are here, they're spending money at hotels, restaurants, gas stations, and other stores at our attractions, and they leave it here when they go. And so they're helping us grow wealth in our economy. Having turf on those fields would help us attract more events, and it would also give locals more of a reason to use the softball complex as well. And then the final piece of Proposition A, we're back to Lake Wichita again. It would resurface, provide a hard surface to the parking lot and the drive-through area at Lake Wichita Park. And as you can see right now, this picture was taken this weekend, that is a horrible lot. It's very soft, and so when it rains, it gets worse. We're trying to encourage more people to use the trail and use Lake Wichita Park, and so this will just continue to get worse. If we vote Proposition A in, not only are we going to nearly finish the trail, but we're going to resurface this area as well, providing a much better experience to both locals and visitors who come in from out of town to use our recreational assets. So that's it. We've got some matching opportunities on Proposition A that we need to take advantage of. If we don't, those monies are gone, and we're going to have to pay the entire piece. We're going to upgrade our sports facilities, upgrade Lake Wichita Park, one of our best, most scenic areas in the city, and we'll get the trail nearly done. So that's Proposition A. It's a big quality of life issue. It provides people more reasons to want to be here, want to visit here, and want to stay here, and that's one of the reasons that we encourage you to vote for Proposition A. If you need more information or want to know more about any of the other propositions or the election itself, we've got lots of resources waiting for you at fallsfuture.com.